Okay, people. So today I'm bringing you Echo Boomers, right? This is a film by Seth Savoy. He directs and he also co wrote the film with Kevin Bernhardt and Jason Miller, right? The film is produced by, bear with me just for a second. Lucas Chirac, Sean Kaplan, James Langer, Kelly Miley, Jason Miller, Jeff G. Waxman, Byron Wetzel, Matthew G. Zamias. Right? Is that everyone? Yeah, I think that's everyone. It is executive produced by Robert Ogden Barman, Shannon Becker, Eric Brenner, Bill Bromley, Michael Carroll, Carlos Cuzo, Luke Daniels, Nadine DeBarros, Andrew Davis Gaines, David Gendron, Tom Gordon, James Ireland, Ali Jazari, Emerson Matouche, Frankie Aldabadi, Alan Powell, Omar H. Parasha, Alex Pettyfer, Jonathan Saba, Matthew S. Schwartz, Sandra Siegel. It is co-produced by Tom Camin and Kevin Bernhardt. Line produced by Charles Arthur Berg and Jacqueline Jamjoum. And it is associate produced by Brandon Keaton Sr. Along with Seth Christian. The film had music from Desmond Sharif Powell and Dara Taylor. Carlos Vernon handled cinematography. Dean Gonzalez and Ken O'Keefe edit the piece, while Henry Russell Bergstein, Alison Estrin, and Emily Ann Roth handled the casting. Adri Sawat was on production design, Heidi Galk, art direction, Kirsty Baltazar was set decoration, and Anna Hayes is costume design. Hair makeup, we've got Teresa Aguilera, Stephanie Sanford Anderson, Robin Michelle Patrick, Edda Sandoval, Sky Stratton, and Reba Vera. Okay, with the cast of... Okay, so we have Lance Zutterland, played by Patrick Schwarzenegger. His brother Jack is played by Gilles Geary. We've got Ellis, played by Alex Petrie. His girlfriend, Ali, is played by Hayley Law. There's Arthur, played by Leslie and Warren. There's Stuart, played by Oliver Cooper. Chandler, played by Jacob Alexander. Mel, played by Michael Shannon. Right, and Kathy Tucker, the reporter, played by Katie Lindor. Who else do we have? I feel they're our main lot of people. Ashley, played by Leslie Stanton. Johnny, played by Mike Hatton. Cataline, played by Ali Freeman. Yes, I think Beth, played by Carly Hall. Stephanie, played by Ashley Marine Ramos. The wealthy homeowner, played by Stephen Haar. Right? Yeah, I would say that's our main lot of people. So the gist of the story, right? A recent college graduate, Lance Zutterland, leaves school in debt, realizing everything he had worked towards was built on a lie. When he is pulled into a criminal underground operation, he finds his peers fighting the system by stealing from the rich and giving to, well, themselves. With nothing to lose, they leave behind a trail of destruction. But with the cops closing in, tensions mount, and Lance soon discovers he is in over his head with no way out. Boy, right? Now, this was Seth's feature directorial debut. Now, and also, if you follow the podcast, you might recognize the name, right? Because Seth produced Ghosts of the Void, which was Jason Miller's feature directorial debut. And Jason was a co-writer of Echo Boomers, right? And when Jason joined us, right, and talked about, you know, how he got into the industry, how Ghosts came about, he, you know, heaped a whole load of praise on Seth and that relationship, how that got started and how that influenced what he went on to do, right? And it's funny because of Ghost in the Void, Seth sent me this film, right? Which you don't always get. You know, I got a real nice message from Seth being like, yo, love the review. And I'm just interested for you just to take a look at this. Don't have to do anything with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, please review this. Please say nice thing. No, you just sent it and was just like, yo, I liked how you got Ghosts, what you talk about. So yeah, please take a look. So I'm like, yeah, for sure, I'm gonna take a look. You know what I mean? Partly because, you know, if someone's gone to the effort of sending you something, you know what I mean, take a look. Also, the way Jason talked about Seth, you know what I mean? It definitely had me interested. So, you know, I figured I will take a look. And with these things, right, you get sent countless films. Some of these films are not good. They're not good. You try and be polite, right? You try and look for the positives. And even when you're talking about the negatives, you try and balance it out. You know what I mean? So just because you send me something doesn't mean I'm going to, you know what I mean? Just heap praise on it. But here's the thing. I don't have to walk any lines with Echo Boomers, people, because I really did enjoy this film. I really enjoyed this film, right? We open up. So we're hearing a lot of news reports, you know what I mean, talking about the economic climate, right? And as we're hearing these, the camera is kind of moving down this corridor. So it looks like the kind of hallway of an apartment building, you know, and there's a bag in front of a door by some stairs. It looks like there's a skull poking out, which is just like, yo, what the fuck? Then someone comes out, grabs the bag. Then we get these shots of people, right? This group wearing skull masks. So you'd be like, okay, that's what it is. Skull masks. and they are breaking into houses, smashing shit up, right? Then we have a shot of a guy in prison, and he's sitting behind a glass holding a phone, and someone's saying his name, and we're getting all these flashes of things, right? So you're assuming, okay, this is shit that's going to happen in this film, right? So it's a reporter, a reporter and author. She's come to talk to Lance and get his side of this story, which supposedly is a true story, if you wish to believe those sorts of things, right? And from all the blurb we hear at the beginning, so you can get that it's about these young people who feel stifled by the system. You know, they feel like they've been sold a rotten bill of goods, right? That everything is against them and they've got to fight the power, right? Stand against the machine. You know what I mean? Just all of this stuff, which you're just like, okay, okay, right? There's, you know, they're doing all of these crimes, and you know, Mel is their oh my gosh, fence. That's it. He's the fence. He's the guy that shifts all the stolen goods for them. And it's interesting is like Mel's a piece of shit, right? They're all pieces of shit, frankly. But you know, although Mel is, yeah, he's not a good dude, he does say some things, right? There's a bit in the film where they're moaning about the amount of money they're getting for all of these crimes. And he's just like, why do you feel you deserve more? Right? What are you actually bringing to the table here? Right? You expect everything without putting extra effort in. And you know, I think it is one of those things, right? Because I've seen a whole a whole lot of hate for this film, right? Going, oh, you know, it's painting millennials in this way, and you know, these kids don't learn, and you know, where's the message in the film? Right? Now, I have definitely looked at some things and gone, well, there's no curb here, right? In this situation, someone obviously would change. But I will say, in something like this, and especially because this film, it dropped at the start of the pandemic, essentially. And I think what, you know, that showed, and I mean, we'd seen it before, but it was a big example to a load of people that people will hold on to a viewpoint regardless of evidence, right? Regardless of anything else that might contradict it. So the fact that these kids don't change, I didn't really find that surprising. I didn't really think that's a shock. Oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, the fact that they, you know, Lance, he leaves college, you know, he's graduated, but he can't find a job. We see him, you know, go for job interviews and he's getting rejections, but that's what happens, right? I remember leaving uni and there was a load of people being like, yeah, so, you know, I think in my first job, I should be making like 30 grand, 40 grand, you know, and it was just like, oh shit, okay. Like, how much experience? Have you got experience? And they're like, no, but I've got a degree. So obviously I should be making this money. And it's just like, no, that's not how it works. You know, people being like, I'm not working in, you know, Starbucks, Costa, right? I'm not filling shelves in the supermarket. They just feel that they're too good for that shit now. My point of view was, I I've got to do stuff to get experience. So I know I'm going to be starting at the bottom. Now, I did a lot of voluntary shit, right? To get experience. Did it help? No, it did not help. But I took some shitty jobs, right? Just to get that office experience, to then get that marketing experience, right? And it's a slog. Shit doesn't just drop into your laps. I've been on so many interviews, people. And it's funny because you hear people talk and be like, I had to do 50 interviews before my first job. And it's just like, that is nothing, you whiny motherfucker. What are you talking about? Right? So it's the mentality of these kids. I say kids, they're early 20s, but you know, they're still kids, essentially. Right? But it's that mentality that they deserve all of this stuff. They deserve a load of money out the gate, right? Without having to do extra work. You know, like it was a bit, one of them's like, I'm a political prisoner, right? They just, it is spouting these stupid statements that mean nothing, right? Because they think it adds worth to who they are. And I thought the film did a really good job of showing this mindset, right? Showing, you know, the kind of thought behind everything that was being done. Because I thought we don't always get that, right? So there's a bit when Ali is breaking down how each of them kind of go into these robberies, right? And there's one guy who goes in and he wrecks kids' rooms. I think it was Ellis. And it's like, oh, because he had a shitty childhood, right? He didn't have anything, right? Didn't have a home. He bounced around, foster care and all of this. And it's just like, yeah, that's shitty, right? But to then pass that pain on to someone else, right? To fuck up another kid's life and existence. What is that? Right? How messy is that? You know? And I thought, yeah, that's interesting because you know she's saying it, right? Like there's a justification for the chaos, right? And this is what it is. But there's no justification for that, right? If these people were just breaking in and taking money, it's shitty, but you're like, fine, okay. But they want to then destroy everything else, right? And there's a level of nastiness there. But when you ask the people doing that stuff, they don't see it that way. Right? It's like these Occupy oil. I don't think that's right. But you know the ones I'm talking about that stick in their hands to paintings and all of this shit. Where it's moronic, right? You're not actually doing the thing you're trying to do, but they think, oh no, this is the thing. Right? And that's what this is. That's what this shows, right? It shows a certain mentality, right? This insipid mindset, right? This mental rot that you are owed everything and you should just be able to go and take it. You don't have to work, right? You shouldn't have to wait, right? You shouldn't have to wait. It should be there on a platter. And I thought it was such a well told tale, right? A world told snapshot, because that's what this is. It's a snapshot, right? It's a frame from a period of time, and you hope that the next chapters will be improved. But listen, we have seen this same thing over and over again throughout the years, throughout the ages. You feel me? So I think it's amusing how people think this is a travesty, right? That it's really doing a disservice to a generation. Because it's not saying everyone, and not everyone has this mindset. But to say that no one does is insane, right? To say that no one looks at the world through these lenses, right? What you're lying. You're lying. We've seen it, right? We've seen people that do this shit, you know? So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it showed these characters. It did flesh these people out, right? I mean, obviously we get more time with some of them than others, you know? We definitely do get that, right? We don't really mess a lot with Chandler or Stewart, but we do get a little bit with them. You know, Jack, Ali, Ellis, and Lance are our main windows that we view this world through. But they are fleshed out, right? And we see that although these are friends, it is built on a sand foundation, you know, which I think speaks volumes. Yeah, I like the soundtrack, right? I thought the direction had a style, a slickness to it that watching you would not think it's a first time director's work, right? I did like that. I did like the transitions and the flow of it all. You know, the script was decent, right? There was a few moments that where you think, that dialogue wasn't maybe the strongest, but for the most part, this is on point, right? You believe in the relationships, right? You believe in all of that. You know what I mean? Just the depictions of how they are living, right? Because there's no saving. They're just blowing cash. It's just like, oh, we'll make more, we'll make more, we'll make more, right? All of that stuff. So, you know, I as I said, man, I enjoyed Echo Chambers. I thought it it told a very interesting tale, right? We don't have heroes here, right? Even the ending isn't very. There's not holes in it, but there's threads left. You know what I mean? But I think in what we are left with Lance, it's one of the truest things. It's one of the truest things, right? Because do you really believe anyone else in what they say? Because I do not, right? It's shit you say when the mic's in front of you. But do you really believe that in your head? You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I thought the reactions and the consequences, just all of that stuff, yeah, makes sense. Right? What Lance does at the end, you're like, I can see that character doing that shit. Right? I can see him doing that shit. So yeah, people, Echo Boomers, it is available. I know it's available on Pluto. Don't get Pluto in the UK, as far as I'm aware, anyway. But I believe you can get it on Prime. You know what I mean? Just anywhere where you get films, man. Apple TV. like YouTube. Look, I've thrown a few links on the website, so go there to check it out. And yeah, get some echo boomers in your life, people, because you know what I mean? It's a fun 90 minutes. Trust me.